Hi there, welcome to Scrap and Coffee. So I'm going to do my very best to film my decorating process for the wallet folio that I've created. Tutorial for that is on my channel already, so I will put a little link on top. So I've prepared a couple of things. I've printed out a paper collection, and this is a new paper collection by Paper Phenomenon, and I believe it's called the Mother's Day collection, and it's not a really large collection, but that's fine. I don't need a lot of it. It's a small project, so that will be fine. Really nice vibrant colors, a lot of purple, blue, pink, really beautiful. Yeah, so I think we are going to make something pretty out of this. So I have a couple of ideas what I want to do, but we'll see how it goes. So I've also prepared most of my embellishments. This one I had to cut out by hand and I didn't feel like it yet, so maybe I will do it. And I've blacked them all with black cardstock, and I've used my scan and cut to do that. And that's really easy to do. So this one is a little bit jacked up, made a little mistake, don't think I will use it. And so these are all the embellishments in the collection. Not a lot either, but again, I don't think we will need a lot. And these are the pocket cards in the collection. Again, just a few and 2 strips. So we will see how we are going to use those. So several people ask me, like, can you show us how you do several things like the backing with the black cardstock and that sort of stuff. So I figured I'm just going to try and show you that on this project. Now this is the wallet, and I haven't placed any magnets on this to keep it closed as of yet, but I think I'm going to use a large magnet here to keep it closed. And what I think of doing is using this paper. And I do have to say, because you're going to notice, I made a little mistake with buying my paper for printing the collection on. It's really flimsy paper, but it printed out beautifully. It is photo paper, but yeah, I'm going to see how it's going to work with everything that I want to do. So it was a little bit dumb of me, but it happens sometimes. So again, magnet here, and then I want to use this paper here. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around the image here roughly. Of course, cut it to size first, back it with black cardstock, and then combine it with another paper, not because I don't like it, but just to give it another pop, and I don't think I can reuse this. So there is this white wood grain, and I think I will combine those two. But I always do my cover last, so I'm just going to save those papers or print them out another time. And then here I need something with this to keep this nice in place, because it's staying close. That's not a problem, but how I feel is when I close it, it's intended to come out a little bit here. So I think I'm going to try and keep those in a little bit better. So we'll see what I can do with that. And what I was thinking about doing here is use this beautiful image. Again, I'm going to cut this to size, and it will fit in the length, but it's too wide. So what I want to do is cut around it again and make sure that it fits here, but it will have a little bit of overhang onto this flap. But I think it's not far enough to put a magnet underneath it and keep it on this one. But that's something that I was thinking about trying to achieve. So I'm just going to start with that. I'm going to cut this to size, and I will see how far of overlapping we can achieve, and if I can use a magnet, yes or no, and otherwise I'm going to try something different, but I have to think about it. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So that was a lot of talking. Now let's get some action done. So this photo mat was 6 1/4 by 4 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to cut this. Normally I would go for a 1/8 of an inch border. Yeah, so that means 3 7/8 of an inch in width and 6 inches in height. So because I want to have the overhang, I have to make the measurement on my paper here. I can cut the 6 inches here. I can start with that, and then we have a nice piece that we can use somewhere else. And I don't have a large workspace, so you have to bear with me here and there. So I've printed the papers on 8.5 by 11. Let's see, I need the 6 inches from this side, and I'm not able to measure my 6 on this paper trimmer exactly. Normally I will eyeball it a little bit. I know about where I need to be, but if I really want to have precise, then I'm going to use my ruler. And I actually did a pretty good job because my 6 is lining up here pretty good. And making sure that I do fit on here, but it does. So let's cut that to 6 inches. And then I said I was going to need 3 7/8 of an inch. Let's get a pencil. So I'm going to measure that 3 7/8 of an inch. So I have the 0 here, and I'm going to make a little pencil mark there at the 3 7/8 of an inch, and I'm going to do the same thing on top. And you can also just make one mark and use a T-ruler, but sometimes I feel that this is just a little bit more precise. So I'm lining up those pencil marks. Yep, get it where I want it. Where's my pencil mark there? And then I'm going to lightly draw a line, and I'm going to cut roughly around the image. So I'm not going all the way up to the image that I want to keep. Stay away from it. So I don't know how well you can see the line, but I've made it there. And what I like to do, because I'm not really sure of myself with my scissors, I'm going to lightly draw where I want it, and I'm not going to care too much about detail here. I'm just going to roughly draw around it on where I'm going to cut this image. Just like that. So I am going to use my craft knife for the pieces where I'm going to use it with a curve, and I will probably use my utility knife for the straighter edges, or you can also use your paper trimmer for that. Now I'm going to turn it around because I like to work from top to bottom, and I'm going to start here where I started drawing. And yeah, I'm not very good at this, but you don't need to be too hard on yourself, because you know you are going to cover up a lot with inking, or we are going to back it with black cardstock. So you might be cutting and you think, oh, this is going to be very ugly, but just continue, just go, and you will see that when it's all done, you don't even see it. So I'm not very quick at this, so when I'm doing stuff like this, I know my matting process is going to be time consuming. So if you are on a time schedule in where you need to make somebody a quick gift or something, yeah, then think about it, that probably after an hour you will not get very far with your matting. And you see, I'm really terrible at it. I'm not even following my pencil lines, but that's okay. I feel like I'm revealing my secrets, and I'm actually not a great crafter at all, but we can keep that secret, right? And I'm thinking about getting myself a cutting surface made out of glass, because I have heard people say that it's easier and more precise to cut on, because you don't have to give so much pressure. So I'm thinking about doing that, but my husband is already going crazy over all the stuff that I'm buying, so I think I'm going to turn it around so I can start cutting at my image towards the cut edge. And I probably need to clean up that corner a little bit. Oh, it's fine. So then let's cut out. We can use this somewhere else, maybe on the other side, but I think I will place a photo mat there. So let's see how good of a job we did. Not bad. That's not bad, but I think, like I said, I can use a really small magnet, but I think it won't be strong enough. So the other thing that I'm thinking about is, can we combine it with this, something like this? We can make that a little tuck space to put a photo in there, and we can also place a magnet underneath. We can also do this one for a little bit more contrast. Maybe that's better. So maybe we can place the other side here and make a little tuck space with this. So I'm just going to cut that and I will see how that looks. So this is already 6 inches, so I need to make it 3 7/8 of an inch. Let's see if we can keep that image. Yes, we can. That's nice. I'm not going to do anything with that because then it will be too much on the page, I think. And I think that I will throw this away, but then on the other hand, maybe I can use it for some strips. So not yet. Most of the time I will just keep my scraps until I'm done with the project, unless it's something very small. So this is what we've got right now. I'm going to back this with black cardstock, so don't worry. Do I like this or don't I like this? This will come a little closer together. I think I do like it, but I will see where I'm going to place it exactly. Back it with some black, of course, because I like how it pops, and it's also a little bit more sturdy when you make an insertion point out of it. So yes, or I'm not 100% convinced, as you can notice maybe, but so I'm just going through my embellishments. Is there something that I can use instead? Yeah, it's about tulips, but I don't see any tulips here. I don't think this is going to work. So I'm just going to back it with the black and then we'll see how it looks then. Because I do want to do something to keep this a little bit tighter. So for this, let me measure this. This is 1 inch by 6. So I'm going to need a piece for that and I'm going to need a piece for that. So I have a drawer here full of black scraps that I can use. And this one will be a good one, I think. So I'm making this. I think I'm going for not a too wide border, so I am going for 6 1/8 of an inch. It was 6, I can always cut that one down a little bit as well. So 6 and the piece was 1. And now I don't like to cut my small strips with this paper trimmer because I'm just struggling. This is 1 and I'm going for a little over 1 1/8 of an inch. See if I can get it as straight as I can. So I'm measuring on this side now. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then I need a piece for here, but I'm going to wow, there's a thunderstorm on the way. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's that was loud. So this is not completely 6, but that's okay. We really don't need it from the top to the bottom. But I do want to have a little bit of overlapping with the piece inwards. Well, actually, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So I can glue it down at this moment, but what I'm going to do is just draw around it again, just like I did before. Going for a small black border. Just like that. And I'm going to cut that out, and I think I will try to do it with my scissors. We'll see how that goes. I'm not the best fuzzy cutter in the world, so use your scraps for this. I always save my scraps from a project, from construction, and then I will see what I can use for photo mats, but also for this sort of stuff. So then I see if I did a good job, and that's fine with me. So I'm going to erase my pencil marks quickly, also on the pattern paper. That's one. Now here, and then I'm going to ink this piece of pattern paper before I forget. So I'm using, and it's hard to see, it's the Stress ink, it's the Black Suit, I think it's called. I'm not able to read it anymore, but so I'm just going lightly on this. And I'm going to use my hard glitter glue for the matting. We'll see how this paper reacts to it because it's so flimsy. I certainly hope I don't need to use any ATG gun or double-sided tape, because that's just too much work for me. We'll see. I'm not good at it either. I'm not good at getting anything straight at the first try when I really need to. I get nervous or something, I don't know. So I'm going to apply glue. You can apply glue on your black cardstock or on the pattern paper. I'm going to do it on the cardstock, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay away from the edge, on the edge where, of course, that I've cut. So I'm using a little bit. You will smoosh it out when you've placed that on there, no more than that. And now I'm going to try to get it where I want it. And I think I do have some time to move it around, but I don't know how this paper is going to react, so we'll see. But I think, well, here I'm a little bit close to the edge. That's it. So when we place this on here, on our C piece, then this is what we will be seeing. And again, I'm just checking one more time if I can make it work with a magnet. Maybe I can. But then it means that I have to back this side of the black cardstock as well with some paper. And of course that's going to be a pain in the sorry, excuse my French. Okay, let's see. It's not staying how I want it, so I can really see what I need to do. So I think first I'm going to glue this one down. So ink it. And if you want to go really crazy, you could cut around here, pack it with black cardstock, make an insertion point, your photo will stay underneath it. But I'm not going to do it. I think this is enough. And of course you are able to place a small photo here if that's what you want to do. Let me see. Maybe I want to cut this a little bit shorter, or I think I'm going to do it like that. and then just use a magnet here. I will use some pattern paper on the back of this. Does that look okay? I think it does. I think it does. Okay, first I'm going to glue this piece down. And my matting process never goes quick. I'm having trouble with making decisions. And sometimes I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos anymore because I just simply don't have the time. But sometimes you see somebody do a tutorial and they already have their pattern paper cut and they're just placing it, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Because I'm not able to know at forehand that I want to have that piece of pattern paper there, you know. I just want to that's just not something that I'm able to do. No, that won't work for me. So now I am going to glue this one down. So here I am placing the glue on the edge and here on the edge only. Try to get it straight. Aiming for that 1/8 of an inch border. Not able to see what I'm doing here, so I'm going to something is not completely right here. Wow, the rain is coming down hard. I'm quickly going to check if everything is standing dry outside, because okay, wow, that's a good rainstorm. So this is what we've got. I think it's not enough for a magnet here. It's not gonna hold up. And then I should have done it before I glued this one down. So we are going to use this strip. So let's see, do I want to cut it any shorter? Am I sure about this? Like I said, I'm really undecided. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to ink this one, glue it on the black cardstock, and I will show you the difference with and without the black cardstock. And yes, it's an extra step, it's a little bit more work, it's a lot of more, but I just love how it works for me so much better. So this is how it will look without the black cardstock. It will still look good, but I think once we do this, and I can also go to the edge, by the way, with this, from edge to edge, but not here. I need a little bit of overhang there. I think that looks so much better. So I will cut off just slightly there so I can go to the edge on this side, because I have that black border there already. So I'm just eyeballing that. I'm cutting off about 1/16 of an inch. And then I'm going to glue this strip on it. So I don't like to use a lot of the wet glue because it will warp the paper. So I'm only doing a little tiny bit on the edges. Hold it in place there. Make sure it's straight as I can get it. And I will put some pattern paper here as well, but I need to place the magnet underneath it. So, and I've been pretty stupid because I should have placed the magnet here on my C piece, of course. But maybe I can place it in the pocket. Let's try that. I'm going to try it because I'm not able to lift this up anymore. So that wasn't very smart. But this, I'm going to glue it on the left edge. And I'm going to glue it, I think I will glue it shut on this piece. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to make a little pencil mark on where I can place my glue. Let's see, I'm thinking here. I think I will place my pattern paper afterwards. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm gluing on my edge here, close to the edge, just a little bit. It's strong glue. I don't need more. A little bit along the bottom and a little bit along that pencil mark that I've made. And then I'm going for about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, eyeballing it that it's straight, and try to give some pressure. So I can also fold it open and then give the pressure from the back side. And now I'm not going to mess around with it too much at this point. I just let the glue dry for a second. So when we close it now, we have to be a little bit careful that we close it where both our overhang pieces will close nicely. So let's get a small magnet. And I'm using the basic gray magnets. This one, these are the larger ones that I'm going to use for the closure, and these are the smaller ones. And I'm having a little bit of trouble getting my magnets delivered at this moment, but I am going to remove the tape backing here of that magnet. Let me check if my lighting is still okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's pretty dark now with the storm outside. So I'm going to place it here where I'm not too close to my edges. Right there. And the only problem that I have is if I want to do it in the pocket, how am I going to get it in there? Because normally I would just stick that one on there and then place it there. Yes, I don't know for sure what I'm going to do yet, but let's see, this one is going to stick up there, so yeah. So if you want to do something like this, place your magnet before you attach this piece of pattern paper and it will be a lot easier for you. So I'm kind of eyeballing, this magnet is here, about there. That needs to face up there. So this is going to be hard. So actually, I think I've got it. It's not perfect, but so my magnet is in that pocket now, but it works. So got saved there. So now when I close this, yeah, it still intends to open a little bit, but not as much as it did. So here, now we can place a small photo mat underneath there. So let's see if I have some pre-cut photo mats by hand. What's this? That looks good to me. And it will fit. Will it fit? Don't stress this too much. So I'm not going to place more than one in there. I'm just using some removable tape. This is from Tombow. Removable adhesive, but I'm not a fan of it. But that might be because of the smooth cardstock that I'm using, that just conflicts. I don't know. So now I'm going to try, because I'm just trying out different removable tapes. The next one I will do is this. And that's, if you apply it, let it dry, then it should be removable. So I will see how that goes. So I will place it right there. You can also do a 3x3 if you don't want to cover that up. And then of course you can also, if you like to do something, let's see, we can also do something like that. So that's the first thing that we did. So now I can think about what is it that I want to do right here. If you see my flex folio, you see, maybe you remember that I made a belly band out of the pattern paper on that, where I could place some photos underneath. So what I was thinking about doing is doing that here as well on the bottom, so I can use photos to keep this flap in place. What I also said in the construction is that I was worried about the bulk of this flap, because it's the same gusset height as these pieces, so they will lay on top of each other. And so I really have to think about the bulk that I'm creating here. For now it's fine, but I'm going to place a photo mat on here or pattern paper. I would definitely not do pattern paper and then a photo on top. And I'm going to do the same thing on the inside and here, and then we will probably have a lot more bulk. So I'm just in doubt about this whole flap that I have here. And I really am thinking about removing it. Let's not think about it anymore. I'm going to remove that flap. Also because now I have a little bit of extra bulk there. So I'm using undo for this. And you know, that's also something about these projects. If there is a feature in the project that you like or that you don't like, you can simply not add it, change it, or use it more than once if you do like it. But here I'm just in doubt about that bulk. Careful. Yes, no damage on the cardstock. Okay, so let me see if I'm able to, yes. I'm just removing the tape so it's not going to stick onto something that I don't want it to stick on. This needs a little bit of time to dry, but it goes pretty quick. So we can think about what we want to do here. And so we can place some photo mats there, combine it with some pattern paper. We could go for really simple 2 6x4s here. Would work perfectly. Looks pretty good actually. But what we can also do is place a 4x4 and a 4x4 and combine that with some pattern paper right here. And we could use this, was the scrap of the paper that we've used here, so we can do that. Or we find something else that combines with it pretty nice. And now I'm thinking there was a paper in the collection that looked like this paper and I didn't print it. Why didn't I print it, you ask me? Well, I don't know. Because it would combine pretty neat. Now I want to use this on the cover. But what we could also do is you could cut a piece out of this, do the same thing that we did here, cut around it, back it with black cardstock, stick it down and make sure that your photos, that it's not stick on your photos, and you can still put your photos there, but you have to keep in mind that your photo will be covered slightly with the image. So you have to find the right photo for that. So I'm going through the papers quickly to see what else we've got that we can use. We have some nice purple wood. It's not screaming yes to me. I have this. Oh, I have the bottom of this paper here. We could do that. That could be cute. So I am also want to do this on the cover. On the cover, of course, I'm going to use the bird image. I don't want to do the same thing on the cover as I'm doing here, right? That's too high. So I'm thinking, let's do this one. So I need to measure quickly what I need on height, and I'm always wrong with my ruler the first time, so I'm going for 2 inches. Then I have a little border between the photo mat and the pattern paper, and I need 1/8 of an inch, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually going to do the same thing that I did on my C pieces. It's the same paper, it's just because I print 8.5 by 12, I have to select which side of the paper that I want, and this is the bottom part of it. And as you can, this feather is the feather that we just used on the C piece. So I need 8 and 1/8 of an inch for 1/8 of an inch border. And I'm just going to cut all the way through the, no I'm not, I'm going to go like that. So I saved that image, but I don't think I will be using it. But so let's see. Trying to save some paper here. I'm Dutch. I always try to save where I can. So now I said I wanted to have 2 inches. So I'm going to measure those 2 inches right there, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's make sure it's straight and connect those marks. And again, I'm just going up to the image, and here, this is the part that we're going to keep completely, and here I am going to cut around. So let's draw what I want to cut out. I'm not going to bother about the beautiful butterflies that are on there, because that's not what the focus is on for me on this paper. And I'm not going to make this an insertion point whatsoever. It's just so you don't lose the image. I could cut just here the 2 inches, but I think this will just give it a little bit extra. So again, it's hard for you to see my pencil marks probably, but I'm just going to cut around it. And I will probably do some editing in the video, because it's going to take a long time, this all of this matting. Now I am going to cut, let's do that on the right sides, on the pencil mark here. So I'm going to start at the 2 inch mark. And I did see I was a little bit off with my cutting, but that will be fine. So let's remove the obvious pencil marks. And here I got underneath it, so quickly I will show you. So I don't need that one anymore, the paper clip. So this is what it will be. I think that's kind of cute, right? Not too much of craziness on there. Of course you could cut all around it and then use another pattern paper to make it even more interesting. But I think this will be fine. We could also back it with black all the way and make it an insertion point again. But I'm not going to do it because of the bulk. Okay, I don't think I can use this, but I'm going to check anyway. I think I can use this scrap piece.
I know, you can use it for everyone.
I can use it?
Mommy, I'm making it nice and soft.
Okay, so my daughter is here with me and she's playing with her Play-Doh. And she likes to tell stories, so we might hear some of that. Okay, that's good. I'm going to cut that out. There we go. Now I will throw that one away. Again, remove the pencil marks quickly. And let's see how we did. So I'm doing the black cardstock for two reasons. Because it makes it stronger, especially with this flimsy paper here. And also because I just like that it gives a little bit of a pop. So again, I'm not going too close to the edges, just roughly. And then I'm going to do my best to get it on there where I want it. And actually I can just line up the edge here, but it needs to be a little bit higher. And it's not perfect, but it's that nobody's going to see it. Really, don't be too hard on yourself with these sort of things. It's going to look great, I promise you. And what did I forgot? I forgot the ink, but I see that it's not too bad actually. I'm not inking this very a lot. I'm just trying to hide the white edge of the paper. That's all I'm doing. Sometimes I feel like paper really asks for more ink on it, but not with this paper. So First, I'm going to place my pattern paper and then I'm going to attach these photo mats. And I'm going to attach them where I can remove them because I will print my photos with a white border. And if I'm not able to have the white border because I crop a 6x4 down, I will use a piece of paper, printer paper, and then I will use that for my white border because this is cardstock. It's way too thick, too much bulk. So if I want to have a white border and I need to create it with paper, I will do that with printer paper. So I am going to ink on this side the edge only. Then I'm going along the long edge, short edge, and this side I will ink like this. So I'm not placing any glue here because my photo is going to go there. And I just want to make it clear as well that it's not that I came up with these matting techniques. I've learned a lot from Kathy Orda King from Paper Phenomenon. She has some great videos on her channel. It's called Matting 101 and Matting 102. And if this is something that you like, I really recommend that you watch those videos, because she has a great way of explaining and showing you how she does things. So I don't want to take the credit for, yeah, I came up with this and I made a mistake. I should not have glued this here. See if I can lift it up. I can, but I did damage that a little bit. So only put glue on this part. And this is one of the reasons that I don't like to film my matting process, because I just have a hard time focusing on what I'm doing and explaining and talking, but it's fine. I did see if I can curve that back a little bit. Put some pressure on there and then it will stay in place. So now, because I wasn't able to get my photo mat underneath it, but now I can. Yeah. So I will just quickly put some removable glue on there. Make sure you're a little bit away from your score line there. I probably will place some pattern paper in that gusset, but I'm not sure. Something I will decide on the end. So when you choose a photo to go here, you do want to choose a photo where your focal point isn't on this part, but more on this part. So I'm just getting it as straight as I can, but I can always replace this, so replace it. So I think I will, because it's tend to come up now a little bit because I was playing with it, but I'm going to use a little paper clip here. And what you can also do is to train it a little bit, but once you've placed your photo, you could glue it down if you're for sure that you're not going to place another photo there. Then you can glue it, then it's not hanging so much. So our first layer is done actually. Now I'm quickly going to go to another piece where I'm already thought of what I wanted to do, and that's this piece. Not my favorite piece in the folio, but I want to see how it looks with the pattern paper. So I have these pieces that I think will go together pretty good. And I'm kind of in doubt, is I'm going to want to use it in this direction, or do I want to use the stripe in that direction? First I'm going to cut this yellow to size. This is going to be what's on the back. So it needs to be, I know, 8 1/8 of an inch by, this is 5 3/4, so I will make it 5 1/2. So first I'm going to cut that. So make sure you cut it in the right direction. I have some script here so this is the right coordination of the paper. How do you say it? So this needs to be 1 1/8 of an inch, and then I said 5 1/2. So let's just use the top part. There we go. And I feel like I will be in a better place of deciding how I want to have my stripes. And here is where the flimsiness of the paper is really going to get to me. This corner here is a little bit standing up, so come on, get in there. So even though it's difficult, I do want to have a whole piece of pattern paper behind this belly band, because if I have overlapping or edges or whatever, it's going to make my photo mat getting in there and out there difficult. So I can better struggle now with placing the pattern paper than when I'm done with removing photo mat. So this is what it will be. And I am leaning towards cutting it in this direction. Yes, I'm going to cut it in this direction. So I think I need 1.5. Yes, divided 5.5. The more I see it, the more it grows on me. I really like what we did there. How does that look? Nothing special, just some simple matting, and I'm already one big mess here. So hard to stay organized. So we do have some fun things like this. Maybe we could do something with it, but that's too much. So I have this. I'm not 100% convinced about the yellow. How would it look with the blue? Do you think that would look better? I want to see it.
Something, and I'm going to make a circle with this thing.
So I've got the blue because I just want to see it. I'm not a big fan of yellow, but sometimes you just need something bright like that. Here we go again, struggle, struggle. And I don't mind cutting this piece because I know I can use it somewhere else if I'm not going to use it. So I think I like this better. And I'm not going to even check the yellow anymore. I'm just going to stick with this. So let's ink everything up and stick it down. So in order to place this without...
Mommy, the art place went to green.
Oh, you are mixing colors?
Yeah, it's Play-Doh.
Oh. So I'm going to start at placing some glue on this side of the paper, then shove it in as good as I can, and then I will glue the other side, and we will see how it...
I need more
Don't
glue.
mix too much, okay?
Okay.
So let's see how this is gonna go. Fingers crossed. If I would have put glue on the whole piece, then it would become a real messy thing. This glue dries really quick. Come on, get in there. So we need to try and stay calm. So here, where there is no glue, is what I'm going to use to line it up. And now I am going to stick it here. And I don't know where I left my longer bone folder, but it's somewhere. It should be somewhere. So now, and I don't have a lot of room to work with, but I am going to try and get some glue right here. So I'm just going to do it on the black cardstock. Just remove that, it dries clear, so that's fine if I'm in frame. And now of course these edges are loose, so I will try to get some glue underneath there as well. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do it like that.
Mommy, he's green.
Wow!
Look
Is it a different green than it was before?
I'm going to make another color. I'm changing color.
So that's it, that's all the glue I'm going to use on this piece. So you may have noticed that there isn't hardly any glue on the middle part, just the edges, and for me that works. That's just enough. And I can always come back and add a little bit more if I think there's something not glued down good enough. So for the belly bands. And I'm going to make sure that I place them all in the same direction.
Mommy, they're changing colors.
Okay, that's on there. And that's already looking better than it did without pattern paper. But that's the point of putting pattern paper, right? So I will make a photo mat to go underneath there. And maybe some extras, because what we can do is you can place it like this. And yeah, you could place it like that. So you can play around with it. Just add some photos. I think I will make one larger one to go underneath, and then make one or two that will go yeah, with the belly bands as well. So we'll see. But I already love it more than I did before, luckily. Okay, so next, what are we going to do? I will save this one for the next video, because it's going to take me a little longer as well, and I don't know how much time I've got left, because my baby boy will be waking up anytime soon. So I think I will make a little piece for this out of some scraps that we had. So let's get organized.
Hey there. Mommy, Daddy's here.
Daddy's home.
You got food in your bag?
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here, and in the next video I think we're just going to start with this one and make our envelope closures for this. So let's see what happens here. That's better. So let's close it all up and keep that in place for now, and we will continue soon.